Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video, I continue to build the Eagle Moss Aston Martin DB5. I am on issue 22. Now in issue 22, I'll be working on stage 84. Stage 84, I install the back body onto the chassis and the front body onto the chassis. There's a lot going on here, and you'll see in the video that it wasn't all that easy for me, and I had a typical alignment issue that everybody else is having. If you know of a fix for that alignment issue that you'll see in this video, please comment below and let me know how to fix this. I will go ahead and take the time a little bit later and fix it and give you a video on that. So please, if you know a fix for this, please put a comment below and let me know. So without further ado, oh, hold on. Let me uncover it for you. There she is. She's a real beauty, and you will see the final part of the build here in stage 86. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 84. We're almost finished here. This is we are getting close. So with stage 84, we're going to start the chassis stabilizer and wire retainers, and that's the chassis which we actually received with this pack. And the wiring, we're going to make sure our wiring is secured down. And then we start assembling the car body. Let me give you some close-ups. So going back a step here, this shows you the parts location. And here's the chassis stabilizer wire retainers, what we're doing there. Section 1 would be the wiring, and here's where we actually mount the back end of the car onto the chassis. So we're going to be doing that first thing after we work with a little bit of the chassis on the back. Step 2, we're going to start installing some of those screws. And remember, I went ahead and I pre-installed the screws and lubricated everything, so we're ready there. Step 3, we install the front end of the car, and that should be ready to go. I showed you that in a previous stage on what I prepped the wiring so it doesn't get in the way, and pre-installed the screws so they're ready to go. After that, we install the exhaust in step 5. So that goes on the outer chassis, lower chassis area that we just received with this issue, and we install the screws for that. And that is all we do. So let me get the parts out and we will get started. I'll be right back. And here's the parts pack for stage 84. And you can see this is the lower chassis area, the outer chassis as they call it. We have the area for the battery compartment and all that. It's a stabilizer for the rear end. So let me pull this out. Feels like it's all plastic, and I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of those parts. Here's that lower outer chassis made out of plastic. We also have the stabilizer. We have wire retainers and a couple of washers. Closer look at the chassis here. You can see pretty nice. Very detailed there. Flat black, made of plastic. Silver accents there for the shocks and such. Your battery compartment here. That's the other side there. Okay, let's get started. Now we're simply just going to install the stabilizer, and by looking at your stabilizer here, If you look closely, you can see there's a closed side here and there's an open side there. Okay, so what they want you to do is, the way I have it now is just the way it needs to be installed. They get installed on the pegs that are right down here, right there, and right there. You might be able to see them there, and there. Okay, so if you look at the stabilizer itself, there's a closed side and an open side. So just to kind of help you along, this open side should face the axle. Okay, so it would be facing the front of the car. Okay, and this closed side would be facing the back of the car. This is the back over here. So we're simply just going to put it into the pegs. I think I want to go ahead and super glue it. They say it can be press fit, but I want it to stay permanently. So use my Loctite super glue and just put a little bit on there. Okay. And checking it towards the back and the front. And there we go. That's installed there. So that's the first step. Bring over the chassis now. I'm going to go ahead and put a towel down. And here's our chassis. Okay. Okay, so for this next step, we're going to neaten up the wires. I went ahead, and so that way the driver's seat and the steering wheel doesn't come in contact with the ground. I went ahead and used that RC stand, the maintenance stand for RC cars. I highly would recommend this for you if you're working alone and you just have two hands. So next thing we're going to do is just neaten up all our wiring, which I already did, and that's complete there. Alright, so that's done there. So I'm going to go ahead and move the stand out of the way. Flip this over because we're getting ready to install the rear end onto the car, the rear body. I'm going to go ahead and put this stand underneath the rear body here. Cover it up with a towel, and that way it will support it up off the ground a little bit while I do this. Here's the rear body. Here's the rear body. I pulled the overriders out of the way, and we're simply going to lay this down right on top. And that went down really easy. So we got to put screws into the front windshield here area. And we'll put G-type screws into this. And those types of screws are recessed screws. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the hole, even though I already pre-threaded it earlier. And the next one. And that's tight. There we go. Now I'll turn this over. Turn this over, being very careful. and start installing our screws on the bottom side. And you can see where the wiring ended up. Right there, and right there. So everything looks good so far. Everything's out of the way. None of the wires got crimped in the wheel wells. So we are looking good. So they want us to put A-type screws here on the end. So I'll do that first. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate those. And I am using a number 1 Wera screwdriver for this. Screw it down until it's tight all the way. And that's tight. I'll turn this around so I can get some torque on it. Really got to squeeze this tight. And that's tight. Perfect. Next we got to put in 2 more screws, a C screw and an A screw. Actually they're going to go right here and right here. Okay. So the A screw is going to go right here. Going to lubricate both sides. I've got perfect alignment so far in the back over here. Looks really good. So the first A screw goes in. All the way down till it's tight. That's good there. A screw once again. And that's tight. And I take it back, these should be C screws, but the A screws did work with it. The A screws just have a really good bite. And an A screw goes in right here. Need to lubricate both sides. Put an A screw in. And the other side. that's tight. Now I need to flip this over so I can put on the front part of the body. And what I like about this is it all lines up down here. Right there. Looks really good. Lined up very well there. Okay? And it's lined up on both sides. I'll be right back. Next we go ahead and install the front part of the body. And I showed you in a previous video what you do to prep for that. Just making sure all your wiring and all that's out of the way. I'll bring over the front end here and make sure your overriders are pulled out and your doors are open. So we will lay this down. All my wiring is out of the way. Kind of bring it in from the front. Should just lay down on it, just like that. That looks good so far. And I will turn this over. It is heavy. All my wiring's out of the way there. Oh, that looks good. Okay. It looks like it needs to slide up some. Looks like it needs to slide up some a little bit. And just like that. That looks good. 4 A-type screws go into this. Two up front and 2 back here. I've already pre-lubricated the holes. We did that in the previous stage. And let me get a closer view for you guys. Being really careful here, I'm going to support the bottom of the car as I put these screws in. I want to start with the front first. It's biting, so... And that's tight. Do the other side. Definitely help to pre-thread them. And that's tight. And 2 more. And remember, these are A screws going in. good there. And one more on the other side. Okay, so the right hand forward passenger side screw definitely needs to be longer. So what I did to overcome that is I grabbed a Z screw. There's 2 of them. You should have 2 extra Z screws. And I took and I cut it off. It definitely needs to be longer. Then I had to grind the head down a little bit so it would fit in through the hole. And that was able to secure it. It seems like everybody has the same issue as I did with this. That's the best that's going to be. So I just completed step 4 where we installed that screw. I had a very hard time with that screw over here, getting things to line up. I believe it's on this side here. And definitely need a longer screw than what's provided in the A screw. So you need probably 2 by 8 millimeter screw at least. And in the process of me trying to fix that, I actually broke my window frame. It very fragile piece here, and I really can't repair it. I tried, and it's just you know, very disappointing. So I've contacted Eagle Moss for a replacement, and hopefully that will arrive here soon. So the next step is step 5. Step 5, they want us to install the exhaust system on this bottom part of the chassis. Well, the exhaust system goes right over the top of the rear suspension. Okay, and once the rear suspension is in place, then we can put the exhaust system on. They don't have us install the rear suspension until the next stage, stage 85. 85, we can't put this on now because in 85 I actually received the springs for the rear end. So the springs are not here yet, so we got to wait till the 85 before we install this and the exhaust system. The next thing to do is just to tidy up some of these wires and run them along underneath here before the bottom part goes over the top. So I'm neatening up these wires. I'm running the front headlight wires, and they need to plug in to the PCB board. So I'll go ahead and do that. And go ahead and do the other side. Same with the back wires. Back tail lights. Of course, the wire holders are installed now. They just press fit in. So that's all we do for stage 84, whereas we install the front body and the rear body. I can push these overriders in. They're out of the way. And that completes stage 84. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.